Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Careers with Miss Doyle. Today I'm really excited we're speaking to Ryan Fielding, who's currently working as a payroll and accounts clerk. However, he's got really a wide variety of experiences from when he went to university. He's worked abroad in Spain and China as an English teacher, and also as a personal trainer and a yoga instructor. So he's got quite a lot of interesting things to talk to us about. Hi, Ryan.
Hiya.
Hiya. So do you want to just talk to us a bit about what you did in school and when you finished school and how that brought you to sort of working abroad?
Yeah, when I left school, I wanted to study business, and I did actually want to get into accountancy then, but a careers advisor. Initially, I wanted to do an apprenticeship, but she said, "Oh no, go and do A levels, do business, do IT." And see how that goes. So I chose a lot of computer-based subjects with business, and then on my interview he said that's too many computer-based subjects, so why don't you try Spanish? And at the time I just thought, yeah, why not? So I just swapped, I think it was computing, something like that, for Spanish. And then in the end, I ended up being much better at Spanish than all the other subjects, and I didn't do great in business, so I kind of put the accountancy aspiration on the back burner and carried on doing Spanish.
Okay, so you did business, Spanish, and something else. IT. Okay.
Yeah.
And then you were better at Spanish, so you went on to do your degree in Spanish.
Yeah. I was actually going to do business, but again, I did a bit of a swap at the beginning. So I was going to do business with Spanish, and then I just, on the last minute, I swapped it for French and did French and Spanish in the end.
Right. Okay. And then did that involve you? So you did two languages, but you'd not done French at A level?
No, I was. They kind of like pushed me through. I don't know how I did it, but I was meant to be joining a post GCSE class, and doing kind of A level while I was there, but they didn't have enough people for that, so they just said just go into the normal degree class. So I actually had to catch up, or try and catch up.
Right. Okay.
Not too sure whether I did catch up, but I did try.
And then did you get to do a year abroad with your uni course?
Yeah, I did 6 weeks in Costa Rica.
Cool. How was that?
That was really good. We did 2 weeks of house building, and then we did a couple of weeks, what do you call it, turtle conservation. So we'd patrol the beaches up and down every night, waiting for these huge, massive turtles to come and lay their eggs. And when they did, you had to kind of like sound this little secret alarm, and everybody would come and help dig this big hole so that the turtle could lay their eggs. And we'd actually have to catch the eggs and put them in a basket and then like bury them in a protected area, so people like crabs, animals, and even poachers couldn't get them.
Right.
And that was really good. I enjoyed that.
So they did 6 weeks in Costa Rica, then.
Yeah.
So that was obviously to improve your Spanish.
Yeah, that was the second year, and then the third year I split between France and Spain. So I did 6 months in France. No, sorry, 6 months in Spain, and then 6 months in France, and then finished my degree at the end in Chester.
And how did you feel then swapping between the two languages? Because obviously if you've done 6 months in Spain and then you've got to go and speak in French, how did that feel?
Because I hadn't done A-level French, it was always a bit of a problem because I was always playing catch up with everyone else, and I even to the end of my degree, I never fully caught up. So I was getting excellent grades in Spanish, but French was always bringing my average down. So
right.
France was difficult, but Spain was pretty easy because it was what I did at A-level.
So then you did, so then obviously you've got your degree now, you can speak fluent Spanish, your French is probably pretty good. What happened next?
I was just looking around on the internet, I think, and I just thought, I fancy going living in China for a bit. and I said to a friend, or I think at the time it was MSN Messenger. I put on MSN Messenger, does anyone want to come to China for a few months after we graduate? And one of my friends said, yeah, I'll come with you. So we went and we did 6 months. That was just for the experience. So that was just to live in China and be abroad. And then I came back. I qualified as a teacher here.
So how did you do that? Did you do your PGCE then?
Yeah, I did a PGCE, and then I kind of, at the end of the PGCE, I made a list of things that I wanted to do before I was 30, and I decided to go back to China and do more over there because I'd started doing Thai boxing in Lee, and I got an interest in martial arts, so I thought I'll go over there and I'll learn a bit of maybe Kung Fu or whatever's available. When I got there, there was a Thai boxing gym with kind of authentic Thai instructors there. So I thought this is almost like being in Thailand. So I went there 4 or 5 times a week for a year, and then went to Thailand to carry on. So I did another 3 months in like a training camp in Thailand, and then finished off with a cage fight. I got persuaded into that, really. I didn't want to do it.
Cage fight?
Yeah.
Oh my word. Did you win?
Nope.
Oh no.
I was basically, I went there, I wanted a Thai boxing fight, but the gym that I was at had an MMA group as well. And I wanted to, I wanted to do the Thai boxing, but the instructor was like, oh, why don't you do a cage fight? Why don't you do a cage fight? And I was like, whoa, I've not really done any MMA before. And he said, oh, you'll be fine, just in nice soft gloves, you'll be fine. And in the end, I did it. I did try and get out of it because I was ill about a week before I got ill. And I tried to get out of it, but I thought I can't pull out now. So I ended up having to have a cage fight with this guy from Sweden. There were 3 rounds, and I lasted until probably a minute before the end. And then I just was gassed out, and that was it.
So then after you've been in Thailand and China, and you've done some teaching of English then at that time as a foreign language, so you're teaching English to people who don't speak English.
Yes.
Then how did that translate? Because then you started to do PT, yoga instructor, and so you must have always had a keen interest in sport.
Yeah, I missed something there. Before I went to Thailand, I went to India to do the yoga course.
Ah, right, okay.
I thought that India would be the yoga would be a good preparation for when I go to Thailand to do the rest of the training. So I did 6 weeks doing yoga training in India first. And
so how did they link then? How did they link together, the yoga and the fighting?
The yoga helps you keep calm when you're under pressure. And you have to get control of your breathing. You have to be relaxed enough to think about what you want to do, because otherwise you'll just panic. And that's kind of how yoga helps it in a way. And it did help it, because I don't think I would have lasted 2.5 rounds if I hadn't been quite calm while I was doing it. I think I probably would have panicked in the first round and probably lost completely. But,
so when you were doing this stuff then with yoga and personal training, did you have to learn stuff about the anatomy to be, more science-based stuff?
The yoga course had an anatomy classes every day in the morning, and then to do your personal training qualification, you have like an anatomy book as well. So it was very similar, to be honest. So you learn everything about how the muscles work, how oxygen goes around your body, the heart. You pretty much learn everything about the basic anatomy on your level 2 and level 3 personal training.
Right, okay, because that's probably similar to what the guys are learning now, the ones who are doing sort of GCSE PE and in science, and they will be learning some of that stuff as well. And then how did it, when you're working in those, so you came back to Lee then, and you're working as a personal trainer and yoga instructor. How does your business operate? Did you work self-employed? Did you work for someone else?
Yeah, so it was self-employed. I mean, every gym is different, so they've all got their own little kind of deals that they give for personal trainers. Some of them will just charge rent, so like I think DW, I'm not sure what they might, and the other thing is they're always changing the policies. So DW charge, or used to charge, about £500 a month rent, which is quite expensive. Now your other gyms, you can work in the gym and that reduces your rent. So they might say you need to do 10 hours on the gym floor, cleaning, picking the weights up, stuff like that, and we'll give you the rent for maybe £350 or £300. And also being able to teach classes can reduce the rent as well. So they might say if you pay £300 a month and you teach 3 classes, your rent will be £200 a month.
So you're at that point, you're working for the gym, you're doing like the basic tasks like cleaning, maintaining, you're teaching the gym's own classes, and then you're doing personal training for your private clients.
Yeah. And then when you're self-employed, you keep everything for you. You arrange your own rates, but the gyms generally don't let you charge less than £20 to £25 an hour. You might be at £20 an hour is probably the lowest it'll go, unless you start undercutting people, which you don't really want to do because you just become quite unpopular if you do that.
And how does it feel then? Because like, would you get somebody say who really wants to sort of tone up or lose weight, and you're helping them on that journey? Is it quite rewarding?
It can be, yeah, especially when like they send you a message like, I don't know, on a Sunday afternoon saying, "Ryan, I've lost £3," and you're like, yes, come on, and they're really happy about it, and you do, yeah, you get a lot of reward from that. Definitely, it's good. You do. Oh, what was I going to say? No, it's gone.
So that would be the best part. What would you say was the best part of doing that as you work?
How do you mean?
Well, when you're working as a personal trainer and a yoga instructor, what are the good things about that as a job? What do you enjoy?
It's just, I think because if you enjoy what you're doing, and if you enjoy working with people and talking to people, you're going to enjoy the job, because that's basically what you're doing. You'll have an hour session, and you'll basically just gossiping with them for half of it while they're doing their exercises. You've got to make sure that they're doing everything properly, and if they're tired, they can't really speak. But in between every exercise, you have to have rest periods. So like you always have a good chin wag in between.
So you start building friendships as well. And tell me this, because I'm languages teacher, and a lot of the kids often say to me, when will I ever use it? Have you ever had any Spanish or French clients in the gym, and you've spoke to them? I want you to say this question.
I'd love to say I have, but I can't remember, There have been people come to my classes that have spoken Spanish, but I don't think I ever trained anybody one-on-one.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's just in the classes.
You get excited though, don't you? Like when I see someone now on the street who's Spanish or French or something, I get really excited with the chance to have a little chat with them in their own language.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say, there was somebody that rang me last week about the payslip, and I had a Spanish conversation with him because he was from Peru.
Cool. Okay.
So
actually, that's in your accounting role, and that's what I was just going to ask you then now to wrap up. What's brought about this? So you've sort of gone. It's really cool. I think what's interesting about your career is it's taken all twists and turns, and then you've come back to where you thought you would, but you've had so many life experiences along the way. Yeah. So what's brought you back to payroll and accounts now? Why did you change?
I honestly think it's because I failed not, well, I didn't fail, but I didn't get a good grade at business A level. And I just thought, I need to kind of pick that back up and maybe even show myself that I can actually do all right in it, which I am doing quite well in it at the minute. So
that's interesting,
it
because you
was
must
that.
run your own business, doing the training and the yoga and all of that. You are actually running your own business. You're marketing it, you're selling it, you're working your accounts out, you're building your clients.
Yeah.
You've already done business.
So I mean, it's a little bit different because when you're working for a company, everything's on a much bigger scale. Mm-hmm. So you do have a lot more to do. Well, I feel like I have a lot more to do now than kind of when I was running my own business. But definitely, I would say that coming back to it, possibly the stability of it, I think, as well. Mm-hmm. Having a salaried job as opposed to when you personal train, you do have a little bit of a worry sometimes, like whether your clients are going to stay at the end of the month. So the end of the month is always a bit of a worrying time, because you kind of like, you got to kind of say, well, are you going to renew? Or
and you must have busy periods, like everybody wants to lose weight in January, but then as you're coming up to sort of...
Yeah, exactly. Christmas is a very quiet period. So you do find yourself kind of dipping into your savings a little bit over Christmas. January, it does pick up a little bit, but it then drops off. And then I'd say it truly picks up in March, because that's when people are starting to think about their holidays in the summer. Mm-hmm. So they're more kind of thinking of the long term, March to June or March to July. So they're a little bit more committed, I'd say, in March than maybe when they start in January, and it's like a bit of a New Year's fad almost, and then they kind of get to February and then drop off a little bit.
Okay. So just as a final thing, what would you say to someone then who's now going into college? I mean, I've asked this question to most people, but because you've worked in so many different fields, perhaps it'd be more of a general piece of advice. What would you say to someone choosing their options now at sort of at year 11, 16? What?
I'd say don't worry if you get bad grades in anything. You can always make up for it. And I'd say it's never ever too late to change what you want to do. If you get bored of something, there's no reason why you can't change it. Take a course, do something at night school, or a little bit of self-studying. You will be able to change where you want to go in life if you really want to.
So if you make a choice and it turns out it's not what you wanted to do, there's always other options available, as long as you're committed to changing it. You might have to make a bit of investment in a course or something.
Obviously, as long as you're willing to work, there's no reason why you can't change. You will have to obviously like pay your way and support yourself. If that means working in a job you don't like for a year or two in order to get a job that you do like, then it might be worth it in the long run. But that's just a decision that each person's got to make.
Okay, that's amazing. So if anybody has any questions about any of the things that you've done, would it be okay to just drop you a little message and catch up? Sure, excellent. Yeah. Thank you very much. And thanks so much for your time. I know it's going to be really useful, really helpful for our kids. Thank you. Bye.
Yep, thanks a lot. Bye.